so much for coming. It's so nice. You know, my parents would say, "It's so nice outside. Why are you watching a movie?" I'm so happy to be in Santa Barbara. It's so much better than New York right now. And did I find my light? I learned how to do that. I'm so happy to be here. Really, you're such a wonderful audience. I saw the last part of it with you. I'm standing over there, and it was so delightful to hear you. And you know, I just you do these things hoping to connect with anybody, and I hear you and I feel you. So thank you. I'm happy to. I'm happy to answer any questions at all. Yes. Yes, you. Talk loud for the people.
Yeah, congratulations. I have to ask, when did you decide to make a documentary? Or is there always a camera crew following you?
First of all, why are you yelling? The quick story is that the head of Sony called me into his office, and he said, you know, Sony created the sitcom business in Russia. They never had sitcoms before. The Nanny, you saw that part, right? So you should see the characters over there. They come from all these disparate backgrounds to make sitcoms now. All of a sudden, all they had was nighttime soap operas and some sketch shows, but now there's sitcoms. And it's so crazy over there. How would you like to go over and wait? He says, observe how we do it. Then come back and write a fictional feature film, about a showrunner who goes over there to have his show translated. So I said, well, that could be funny, but if this situation really exists and the people are really there, why not bring a camera crew over and just film what happens? And he thought, I love that idea. Would you be the guy? And like an idiot, I said yes. And so I went and I did it. He had said, do your show over there. So that's the movie. Mm-hmm. I didn't know what I was going to get. I had no idea if it would be that funny. I didn't just, you know, I shot for a couple of months. I got like 200 hours. And I cut it down to 85 minutes, and that was the good stuff, right? But you don't know when you have a documentary. You don't know. You have to be very lucky. I didn't know that they would be so great, and I didn't know my parents would be so hilarious. I'm lucky to have them. I really am. I mean, I'm lucky just from birth, I guess. I'm very lucky. They were always very supportive, and they didn't steer me toward show business, but they were supportive of whatever I did. And now I was lucky to have material to write some of Raymond with them in mind, right? And then to have them be brilliant comedy performers too. Yeah. Yes.
Congratulations, Phil. It was great.
Thank you.
John.
Yes, he's good too.
Really
yes.
Well, he's wonderful.
Yes.
It was very much like a Chekhov play, like really well done. It was amazing how that all spun out. So what happened in Poland?
Oh, they're doing it in Poland. Yes, and I'm not going. Now I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
Here's where they asked me to go last week. This is the newest place they're doing it. Would I consider going? I'm not kidding. Cairo.
The K&R shirts there would be really.
Yes.
Well, to build on that, do you think comedy has geopolitical implications here? In other words, to me, it seemed the reason it wasn't working at first is everyone was keeping up appearances and they weren't being real people.
Yeah.
If comedy is the way to get people to be real people, people to people. Maybe that has some geopolitical implications.
You're like a professor. I should have talked to you at the beginning. But I think that's right. I think, yes. In fact, it was explained to me the Russians... Who's Russian? Anybody Russian here? Yes? What did you think, ma'am?
That was wonderful.
Oh, good for you. Because you're just happy to be out of there, aren't you? Ha ha, look at them over there. I know how it is. No, what was explained to me was that the Russians are coming from a place of maybe a little bit of humiliation from having lost the Cold War. The last thing they need is some American know-it-all coming over and telling them what to do with their business. So I think that was some of the resistance that I was getting. I think I could also be a putz that nobody likes. That could also be. But, you know, I have to say, even though I had frustration there, I was trying to make the point that it's just as frustrating here. I meet the same network executives who treat me just as badly here. Doesn't matter, right? So there's no, I'm not saying we're better, they're better. It's, people are, I think, pretty much the same underneath. We all have the shell, and then what's underneath is what I was trying to get at. Yes?
Did you do stand-up, or did you always start writing? How did you get started?
I never did stand. I think I tried it once when I was 19. It scared the hell out of me. It's very hard to do.
You're good.
Oh, thanks. Thanks. Okay, now I'll do a set for you. These are my Santa Barbara jokes. I thought, you know, I watched a lot of TV as a kid. My parents will tell you way too much. And when you're a kid, you don't know there's writing and directing and producing. You know, I watched The Honeymooners, and I liked them. And I said, I'll do that. I want to be like them. And so I went to school for that, for acting. And you know, I was a big star in high school and college, and then I moved to New York, and nobody cared. And some friends of mine and I wrote a show for ourselves to be in. We were all out of work. And this show, though, became something called Tony and Tina's Wedding. I don't know if you've heard of this. Yes, yes. I don't see a dime from that show.
Yes, I've seen it.
You've seen that show? Yeah, I was the original priest off Broadway. Can you believe that?
You were?
Yeah, typecasting, I think, don't you?
Fantastic timing.
Thank you. Thank you.
Wonderful. Well
Thank
done.
you. So that was fun. And then, you know, that didn't work out for whatever reason. And then I found myself with nothing again. And then I started writing. And I didn't know it, but I was a very good student of television. I wasn't just watching. I guess something was getting through. Who knows? You know, sometimes life presents what you're supposed to do. Yes?
Is the costume design woman still part of the process?
I love her. She you know, after I took that break in the middle of the movie, right, they sent me back home for 10 months while they shut down for God knows why. Most people left and went on to other shows. She went on to do a science fiction fantasy show. I'm sure she was very happy. Doing all those kinds. So when you see she comes back at the end, I'm very happy to see her. She's happy to see me. We didn't have to work together. And she really does do that. I said, what do you do in your spare time? I thought she was going to say, I go clubbing, you know, and with the clubs and all the nightlife and everything. She says, I have 3 Pekingese dogs, and I like dressing them up. Yes?
What did you think of some of the American actors compared to the Russian ones? Or, you know,
Yeah.
how they play the roles?
Yeah. What did I think of the Americans compared to the Russians? Well,
yeah, the actors who played the roles.
yeah. You know, I got to kind of handpick the American ones myself. You saw I had only something of a say in the Russian. You know, I can't say that I was as crazy about the guy that we ended up with, and I made no bones about not being crazy about the one who's in most of the picture. But you saw I loved that guy that got away. I mean, isn't it obvious how great he was? And people asked me, how can you know, when I was over there, how could you tell anything? They're speaking Russian. You can tell. When you go to see Roberto Benigni, right? You know, we don't speak the language, you don't have to read the subtitles. He's funnier than the guy he's standing next to. You just know, right?
What's become of the guy that you liked?
What's become of the guy that I
become?
liked? He's probably working in theater.
Okay.
He's probably very successful. You know, he's probably not as rich as he could be, but it's not his life. Once you're an actor, you are owned by the theater. You have a theater master, and he has the biggest. He has the biggest, strictest, you know, there really is no equivalent for that guy. He is God. It just so happens that God likes the singing fish on the wall. Oh, sweet.
I just loved it. Just
Thank
so
you.
Inspiring and funny, and your timing, and when you would turn and look at the camera is great. I'm a comedy writer or performer myself. And
Really?
Yeah. And
Very nice.
Thank you. And I wanted to know, how did you do that brilliant narration? You know, when you were looking over the footage,
Yes.
did you stand with like a tape recorder and make comments, or did you type it?
That's a good
while you
question.
were back in the studio?
That's a very good question.
Yeah.
A lot of it was pre-written. I'll tell you how.
Oh, great.
As the thing was happening to me, and because you can't do so many things at once, like how could I be a director and be in it and do my job as the guy trying to help the Russians make the TV show, right? So I made a decision early on. I would have 2 cameras, which is unusual for documentary. Usually there'd be 1 camera. They'd film you talking to me, and then we'd do a fake reaction of me going, oh, interesting, because we only have 1 camera. But I thought it would be more real and natural and wouldn't have to fake anything if we had 2. So that was my big directing, and then I left it alone. I wasn't directing again until I was in the editing room, right? Where the real putting together of the movie comes. But what I would do, and this took a little discipline, was after every day of hell over there, I would write an email to my family and friends back home saying what happened. A lot of those emails, and I saw right away that I was getting reaction, ha ha, keep writing to us, it's so hilarious how you are suffering. And don't you know that these emails, this writing became kind of the framework for the film. But you actually, if you write things down, you can and read them back, your life suddenly is a story. It may not be very interesting. But you can make it interesting if you say, you know, I don't want to write something boring tonight.
That's great. And you had an audience, too, an email audience.
I had an email audience.
Well
I think
done.
I will at some point, I will start publishing those letters, maybe in time for the release of the film. Maybe we'll have, oh yeah, my producer John wants me to tell you that please, it's a little movie. So we need all your help going on the tweeting and the twitting and the twatting and whatever you do. And the Facebooking, right?
And this, and today.
Oh, and if we win the Santa Barbara Film Festival, then we're golden. But we need you, honestly. And I think there's fun stuff coming up on the website, and if you tell your friends, that helps us. So thanks, help.
Did you ever find out the truth about your driver?
What happened to Eldar?
Yeah.
It's a Russian mystery. It really is. Here's what I think. Somebody told me this. And I think I believe this. We got along very well. You could see that we were naturally, we became friends. And maybe he did tell me the truth. Maybe he did go in for tests, right? Because there really was something there. But he told his people, he told the other Russians, that he was going on vacation because in Russia, maybe if you tell them you're sick, you lose your job.
Yeah.
Okay, so that makes sense, right? What doesn't make sense is how does he come in looking like George Hamilton?
He really can.
He looks better than anyone I know. He looks like a movie star. So I don't understand, I really don't. Unless that's part of the thing to convince the Russians that he's not sick. I don't know. All I know is that he's a great guy. I really love him. I mean, you couldn't write that with the shells, with the seashells, right? So beautiful. I almost lost it in that war museum when he told me that. I was like, my God. Anybody else? We good? Yeah.